So then I think we will be able to start gradually. Everyone will come in. But great that you are all here. Well, today is our second webinar of PsyGlobal, of the educational series that we set up as PsyGlobal for you. And a couple of weeks ago, we started, with a mini lecture on location, and it was around ethics and legal framework. But today it will be about children and youth. And for that, we invited Marijn Willem-Snoek and Irina Mulder. And Marijn has her own practice in children and youth psychology. And Irina is a Ukrainian psychologist herself and works with her. And I really see them as a best practice together. You can really lift each other up, I think. And together they will first explain something on how children and youth mental health care is organized within the Netherlands. And when signing up for this webinar, you had the opportunity to ask some questions. And some of those will be answered during this webinar. So then I would like to give the word to Marijn.
Thank you, Mira. So my name is Marijn Willems. I'm a child psychologist from 2006. And I have my own private practice in the eastern of the Netherlands. I have 10 colleagues who are all working with children and their parents from 0 to 18 years. And they all work in a special, together with the gemeente. And in 2022, when Esther Hayema from PsyGlobal informed me if I could work with Ukraine psychologists. So I really wanted to help. So that was the start where I met Irina. And Irina and I, also psychologists, started to work together. And that was very nice because she has the same profession. And together we really can help children very good. But sometimes it's not easy to know everything, how the legal aspects in the Netherlands is arranged. So there are a lot of rules, and the youth care system is difficult organized. So we talk a lot, Irina and I, about our profession, but also a lot about the legal aspects of the help and also how it is organized. Irina has her own clients. We work together. So when there are problems with children from Ukraine, the general practitioner can phone me and ask, can you help a child? And then I arrange a meeting with Irene, and then we talk about the child, and we can help find the right help. And sometimes it's very important to know how the psychological system works. So the youth care system in the Netherlands, the gemeente, the municipalities are responsible for the youth care since 2015. Before it was the health insurance were responsible, but since 2015 the gemeente, the municipalities are responsible for the youth care system. And the youth care is divided in different regions, like you see in the map here of the Netherlands. And the reason why they are divided in different regions is that this way the help for children can be organized in their neighborhood. So that's very important. The gemeente, the municipalities, are also financially responsible for the help, the youth care. So if you want to give start as a child psychologist, you have to have a contract with a gemeente. That's very important because when there's no contract with the gemeente, then also the help cannot be financed. If how can a person can get help? So I have to stop like this. Can show it to another one. Oh, now my slide is gonna go away. Now, how do you can go to the youth care? There are 4 ways you can go to youth care. Everyone who starts has to have a referral. There are 4 ways. One way is the huisarts. That's the general practitioner. A general practitioner can refer to child care. They play a crucial role to primary care because they know the problems from the parents and also know the problems from the children, and they are very, especially very early in referring. So the general practitioner, the huisarts, is an important person who can refer to youth care. The second one is the wijkteam. That's a team in the neighborhood. In every neighborhood in the Netherlands, there is a wijkteam, and that's a team for youth care in the Netherlands. So the youth care system in the Netherlands, the gemeente, the municipalities are responsible for the youth care since 2015. Before it was the health insurance were responsible, but since 2015, the gemeente, the municipalities are responsible for the youth care system. And the youth care is divided in different regions, like you see in the map here of the Netherlands. And the reason why they are divided in different regions is that this way the help for children can be organized in their neighborhood. So that's very important. The gemeente, the municipalities, are also financially responsible for the help, the youth care. So if you want to start as a child psychologist, you have to have a contract with a gemeente. That's very important because when there's no contract with the gemeente, then also the help cannot be financed. There are 4 ways you can go to youth care. Everyone who starts has to have a referral. There are 4 ways. One way is the huisarts. That's the general practitioner. A general practitioner can refer to child care. They play a crucial role to primary care because they know the problems from the parents and also know the problems from the children, and they are very, especially very early in referring. So the general practitioner, the huisarts, is an important person who can refer to youth care. The second one is the wijkteam. That's a team in the neighborhood. In every neighborhood in the Netherlands, there is a wijkteam, and that's a team for youth care in the Netherlands. And they also play an important role in providing help and assistance to families. The third one is the GGD. That is preventive health care for children. They do vaccinations and also health checkups. And they organize a lot of clinics, and they can refer to youth care too. And the 4 is the child pediatrician. They also can refer children to specialists and if help is necessary. So when you not have a referral from these 4, you cannot start. So it's very important to have a referrer from one of these 4. What kind of organizations are there? There are a lot of organizations in the Netherlands, and one of them are the paramedical care. And the paramedical care, that is like the speech therapy, the motor psychomotor therapy, audiology. So when children have speech problems or children has motor problems or language problems, they go to the paramedical care. A lot of children at school get that kind of help. But you also have the youth care. That is also a big, broad range of help. That's like help for family guidance, but also foster care or residential groups or individual therapy. One of the organizations is like Altra or Yorneo or Enver, that are organizations like youth care. And there's also mental health care. There at the mental health care, the GGZ, there where the psychologists work. And that's like an organization like Arkin or the Opvoedpolie or Dimens or Akare or Predeba. That are all GGZ's, and that's places where the children go when they have need help. The other organization is Veilig Thuis. En de Raad van de Kinderbescherming en de Jeugdbescherming. En Veilig Thuis, Safe Home, is an organization where a lot of questions are about. But the three are all child protection organizations. And I think it's important to know a bit more about Veilig Thuis and also know a bit more about the Raad van de Kinderbescherming. Because there are a lot of questions about these organizations and a lot of people have fear about this organization, but they are very important. So I think I can tell you a little bit more about it. The most important thing with Veilig Thuis, it is an organization who is focusing on addressing domestic violence and also child abuse. So it's not only for child abuse, but also for domestic violence. So that's why it's for 0 to 100 years old. But for the children, it's especially for child abuse. They are the one where you can go when you have serious concerns about violence in their home or safety about the children. You as a professional can also call to Veilig Thuis when you have concerns about the safety. But also children and adults, parents can call to Veilig Thuis when you have concerns. When there are concerns, they go, look if there are really big problems like acute danger, like physical or emotional abuse or neglect, of when a child is in a dangerous situations. They also go report when parents are refusing help, then this may lead to report. But when parents are helpful, they really want to help, and they see that their child needs help, then there's no report. So it's very important that parents are open for help when there are problems. But when there are repeated reports from abuse or safety problems, then the Veilig Thuis has an option that they send the reports to the Raad van de Kinderbescherming. And that is the next one, the Child Protection Board in the Netherlands. They have an important role in the Netherlands because when there's long time safety problems, they have to ensure the safety. So they have organize investigations, and then they can invite we as a professionals, but also parents and schools and also children for round table discussions. And in a round table discussion, they come together and discuss about the situation around the child. These are most of the time very complex cases. And when there's a lot of unsafe situations, then sometimes they involve the court. And in the court, they are trying to see if it's necessary for an out-of-home placement, or they determining the parental authority. But it's also the last option. So before they think about out of home or the authority of the parents, they first try to start with help, and that's very important because a lot of people are concerned about veilig thuis and also concerned of the Raad van de Kinderbescherming. It's very important that it is a long process. It's not the first signal and a lot of children are directly put out of home. It's a process in a lot of steps to come to the conclusion about that things out of home is necessary. In the Netherlands, it's very important that parents are consent. They have to be before you start help with a child. You have to have consent from parents. That's very important because when you don't have a consent from both parents, you have a legal problem. So when there is a divorce, it's very important to ask as well as the father as the mother for consent. Another thing is very important in the Netherlands is that the parents must be well informed. Parents have the right to receive a lot of information. They have to be well informed, else they cannot give permission to start treatment. When children are older than 16 years old, then they have a permission to start without consent from their parents. But also then you have to have contact of, now you're not it's very important to stay in contact with the system. So that are important rules. So under the 16, you have to have information from the parents, and older than 16, then a child can decide in his own. Another thing is, what is a child psychologist doing in practice? What is my daily job? So I do a lot of different things, but also a lot of the same things I think you do. But we're working with children, it is very important to have contact with their surrounding, especially school, but also sport, friends, the whole family. That are very important things in the child psychologist. So one of the things what I do is diagnosis, like depression, ADHD, behavioral problems. But I also do therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, also play, and also we also do help outside in the nature, to have therapy outside. But also a lot of work for me is talking with the parents, how their parents can help their children. It's also a very important part of my job. The other thing is that I go to schools to talk about to the school teachers how they can organize their surrounding as good as possible for the children. And I think you cannot work without school because children are a lot of most of the time at school, and also a big time with parents. Another thing what I do is crisis interventie. So when there are acute problems, also trauma, then we also can help. And also sometimes we have also a program for preventing help. So we give advice to parents here in the neighborhood, how they can work with, how they can promote their mental well-being. So also prevention is also a part of my job. Then Mira, I'm going to ask you to help me with the questions.
So the first one that has been asked was how Ukrainian psychologists can integrate into the healthcare system in the Netherlands when working with children, and legal aspects when working with children in the Netherlands.
Yeah. How Ukrainian psychologists can integrate in the health system when they work with children. Yeah, I think yeah, it is important that they work with children. I think that's the quickest way to integrate in the health care system, because then you see how it is working, and also the legal aspects. Like I told in the in the end of the presentation, it is also very important to have permission from the parents. And yeah, I think maybe Irina, you can tell me more about the legal aspects and how it is to.
Yes, I think the most important is diploma recognition, but I think all the people that are now at the webinar, they know it already and they have done something. Beside this, about the legacy of the, we had a very interesting case where the father was not giving his toestemming,
Permission?
permission to support the child, and we had a really big problem, so we stopped our therapy. Um, I think also one of the things is working with, like we do, like I do with you, working with a Dutch psychologist, and yeah, being in collaboration with a Dutch specialist. So it's a supervisor that can help you with all of the juridic questions and different questions. Um, I think the psychologists, of course, have to learn the language and the culture. I think it will help in many ways to integrate in the Netherlands culture and in the Netherlands system. And yeah, knowing, having the basic knowledge about the culture, I think it's also one of the important aspects with in a work. Or did you mean something else? Because I can go on.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is a wonderful description already. Thank you. Yeah. Um, shall I continue to the next question?
Yes.
Yeah. So the next question that has been asked is features of adaptation of all older and younger teenagers in emigration. So how to help them adapt.
Yeah. I think school is very important. Doing the normal things, structure, rhythm, that are very important things to be integrated in the Netherlands. Because when you have a structure or a rhythm in the day, you get out of bed, you go to school, you learn the language, you also meet other children, younger people, then you integrate it most fast. But also, you see the normal things. I think that's very important too. That you see the normal. You talk about the normal things. What you also talk about when you were in Ukraine. Of course, it tells, but for children, they're very veerkrachtig. I don't know the word.
Resilient.
Resilience. They have a lot of resilience. So when they have things to do like school, that's very important.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So with the war, children quickly grow up, and what methods can be used to return childhood?
Yes.
Mhm.
Play. I think that playing is very important for children. Also in just relaxing and also in verwerking. So when they are traumatized, also play is very important. Maybe Irina, you can tell more.
Yeah, what I do, of course, it's the techniques you already all know. So it's breathing exercise, it's mindfulness. Yeah, to tell children about emotions, how it works, and I'm totally agree with playing. Um, uh, all kind of things, drawing, playing with sand, and storytelling, using the art therapy in some objects. Yeah, I think, and you know, breathing, relaxation techniques, colleagues, I think, are very aware of. So I think you guys use them all already.
Thank you. Um, and how can I improve my qualifications as a child psychologist? Is the next question.
Yes. I think that's a difficult question for me. Or do you mean in the Netherlands, in the system, the Dutch system?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. How you can improve your psychological, I think you have to make a lot of hours with working with children, but also study a lot of things that are then, I think, the most important things. Studying the ages from children is also very important. When I help children, I always watch the age of the children. There's a big difference for children who are 4 years old, who are 6 years old, or 8 years old, or 12 for anxiety. So it's very important to know a lot about the different ages children are and what kind of typical problems they have. When a child sees monsters and they are 2 years old or 3 years old, or when a child sees monsters when he is 9, there's a lot of difference between that kind of problems. So it's very important to know what age what behavior is normal and what age which behavior was problematic.
And I will add for myself. I don't know if PsyGlobal organizes, because I have attend a lot of courses that PsyGlobal has
Provided?
provided. Thank you. So, and what I personally find, ask your regiebehandel, ask your supervisor, because what I have noticed, Dutch system, they have many books, many manuals on how to treat, on a simple way, on a very structured Dutch way, how to treat many of things Marijn already mentioned. So don't hesitate, come to your supervisor and ask for sharing literature, books, and go to the webinars of PsyGlobal and all kind of studies. Read researches and improve yourself.
Do you have a suggestion on a book that you think is has a
Oh yeah,
very
I actually
rationale?
do. I do have a suggestion, and I
Mhm,
have it right here. It's for ADHD,
mhm,
and I have got it from Marijn,
mhm,
which was very helpful for me. This is the you have two kind of books.
mhm,
I don't know, guys, if you see it.
mhm,
And one, wait a second. One book is for the psychologist,
mhm,
and the other book is for the child. Very easy Dutch, so you can also improve your Dutch.
mhm.
But it's also, if you translate it in the translator for Ukrainian, you can like what we do with the child I work here in. I'm just translating, and we are writing it in our no, in his note. So the book, I don't know, even kijken. Bianca Boyer, Marije Kuijn, Zelf plannen. It's very good book for the ADHD. May I
Mhm.
say it maybe in Ukrainian, because the most people are
Sure.
Ukrainian. Ось я ділюся з вами книжечкою, дорогі колеги. Це дуже крута книжка в роботі з дітками з СДВГ. Вона дуже структурована, так як в Голландії все структуровано і дуже класна. Кому потрібно буде, ви потім можете, я можу її потім скинути в наш чат психолога в Нідерландах, якщо вам це буде цікаво. Окей, yeah.
All right. Thanks for this suggestion. Let's go to the next one. Maybe like organizations that can provide psychological help to that category, referral scheme in crisis situation. That did it say? I think, yeah.
Good question. The health organizations are just organized with every gemeente. So you have to go to your municipality to know the organization who are contracted. And you have to have a referral from the practitioner, like the GGD, the child pediatrician, or the neighborhood team. So that's very important that you have the referral to start the help. And also for crisis situations, you have to go to the youth care organization from the gemeente, so from the municipalities. That's very important because every gemeente has its own crisis option for children. That's frustrating for if you want to know for the whole of the Netherlands, but when you work very local, it's very helpful because you can find each other very quickly. You know the names in the neighborhood. When I work with Irene, everyone knows Irene in Ommen and Hardenberg. So that's very good because the lines are short, so you find each other very good. But when I want to explain you the whole Netherlands, it's too complicated.
And I think this question is also refers to what Marijn have already told. So Veilig Thuis, GGZ, GGD, so all of the organization Marijn already told about.
Yeah. And how to get the services of a child psychologist outside of your municipality. Where are the vacancies for child psychologists? Yeah, I'm just thinking about what they exactly mean.
Yeah, so that's also a problem out of the municipalities because only the youth care organization who are contracted you can access. They are accessible. So if they're not contracted, they are not accessible. So it's very important you find the right youth care organization. And the big youth care organization, they do have a contract. I don't know about the vacancies for child psychologists, but maybe that's for PsyGlobal.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And how to there was also suggestions, what trainings do you recommend? Like what sort of trainings in children and youth psychology?
Yeah. What training do I? Yeah, it depends on what kind of children you work with. If you work very broad and there's a lot of different problems, then yeah, I think there's a difference because when the difference between Irene and me, I think I have more cognitive gedragstherapy and Irene works more psychoanalytisch. There, it's good. So like this, yeah. I think there's difference, and I really like the difference. So I don't think we have to change everything because it's very important for children and for parents to have something familiar and have things who work with your culture. So maybe Irene, you can.
Yeah, I would recommend trauma training, something for PTSS training for the children. And because they really, I think this one, yeah, EMDR. I personally don't have the certificate for EMDR, but for example, Marijn does have her certificate. So we didn't do it yet, but we were thinking about that. Marijn will do it in Dutch, and I, as Ukrainian psychologist, because I have already contact with the boy, so we will do it together.
Mm.
So Marijn is doing the technique, and I'm doing the yeah, the translation, and we didn't do it yet. So,
Yeah.
but it's one, yeah. Cognitive behavior therapy is, of course, it's working perfect, and yeah, family therapy. There are so many therapies. Art therapy. I think the colleagues would also know
Mhm.
their ways of working.
Mhm. Um, Let me see. I think there's also a question just came in through the chat, I see, from Lina, if I say your name right. Hi. So do psychologists only deal with exactly psychological work, or due to conflicts in the community, places of residence, hostels, responsible adults are unable to help? Social assistance is also needed here. Social work to improve the climate in communities. Whose responsibility is it? So, for example, overcrowding in some hostels lead to conflicts and affects parents and children.
So the question is, what's the responsible for the child psychologist, and what's the responsibility for the social worker when there are more things than only problems for the children, but also problems like overcrowded. What affects the problem? I think. Yeah, I think Irene and I have had that too. We have a social worker in Ommen, like he's called Mike, and we have a lot of contact with him, because sometimes we see problems with the same problems with different children. So we know there's more. We can help them better when we work with the whole community. Like we talked about how late children go to bed, they are all tired, they go on their screens, and there's no structure in their day. So then Irene and I and the social worker talked about how can we arrange better surrounding for the people there. So I think it's not completely the work of the child psychologist, but sometimes we can arrange that there is that they know that there are problems, and that we can give advice as how they can change it. So I think we have more an advising role than we started ourselves.
And I would also add to this, like, build your own borders, because very fast you get in the situation where you included as a psychologist, and where you, yeah, the situations you don't want to have, and you don't you don't have to you don't have to oplossen,
Solve. Solve.
solve, right, solve. So and I yeah, actually Marijn can also give me a direction. So this is not your work, this is not, you can give an advice, but you don't have to solve it. So it's also very good when somebody, as a Dutch colleague, will lead you in this process. Somebody who knows the system, who knows everything, who knows the rules. They say, no, you don't go further than this. To know your borders.
Mhm. Yeah, indeed. And for people who are not part of the, yeah, you raised your hand, Lina.
Yes, if you allow me, I ask
Sure.
more, one more
Yeah.
question. In this case, how they regulate in the Netherlands, regulate work together, social worker and psychologist, because they need to solve the problem. I understand it's not psycholog not responsible to solve this problem, but how they work together. Should I go to Gemente or should I go to a social worker? How it works?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, it depends on the problem.
For example, I describe this problem, for example, here, and conflicts and etc. In a place of living.
Conflicts between children or between adults?
Between adults, because they live, it's crowded, for example, and they live together in a small space, etc.
Yes.
For example.
Yes. Yeah, I think I would help the adults individually, how they can have more have their own space or know ways to cope with the situations. But also, I would have contact with the general manager. I don't know how it's called, so they can arrange the surrounding better.
Mhm.
Social workers in the in the opvang.
Mhm.
Social worker or manager of this hostel, or social worker, how they
Yeah.
work.
I think manager. I think you mean manager.
Manager. Thanks a lot.
Great. I see someone else also raised their hand, Elena, and since I think we're with a good amount of people, I think it's okay to just ask your question instead of only typing it. So, Elena, what would you like to ask?
I would like to ask also a question about privacy of kids. For example, in locations for Ukrainian peoples, unfortunately, really often I can see situation when, for example, daddy or mother has problem with alcohol or with aggressive behaviors, and then some kids try to stop me somewhere in area like and ask some support. Is it legal, for example, to help kids without parents, but in case when the parents really has or have some problems with alcohol or drugs or some behaves, how it's work like in this case?
Yes.
It's possible for kids to ask about help before 16 years old. I heard you, but if it's really necessary for this young boys or ladies.
I don't know if I understand it really good.
But for example,
Olenочко, we можете задати українською? Ik zou dan vertalen, als hij Oekraïens spreekt, dan kan ik het direct naar Nederlands vertalen. Is dat oké?
Maybe you can translate it into English. Yeah.
Pointing.
Yeah.
Наприклад, якщо хтось з батьків має проблеми або з алкоголем,
З алкоголем, так.
і далі, наприклад, ця дитина вона не може отримати дозволу батьків, бо в неї звернення саме через батьків. І тоді вона намагається до мене за допомогою в її, наприклад, захистити або допомогти саме через батьків. Як в такому випадку, тобто отримати дозвіл батьків неможливо, бо питання в дитини саме про батьків. І, на жаль, на локаціях це дуже часто
розповсюджено.
Так.
Тобто отримати дозвіл на психологічну допомогу. Ага. Jongens, ik ga dat wel in Nederlands doen, want dat is onmogelijk in Engels.
All right.
Kijk,
Together we will make it work, right?
kijk, als de vader en moeder problemen met alcohol hebben, de kind heeft psychologische problemen. De kind wil de psychologische hulp aanvragen. Maar hoe kan de kind psychologische hulp krijgen als beide ouders dus toestemming moeten geven?
Mm. All right.
And hoe oud is het kind?
Minder dan 16.
Yeah. He has to have permission, else you cannot start. You have to have permission. No, without permission, you cannot start. But when you have doubts about their safety, then you can phone Veilig Thuis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
En veilig thuis, als het, if it's very dangerous, then they call Raad van Kinderbescherming.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Aha,
But
okay.
first they are
Investigating.
and that's
Yeah.
a process for a long time. So it's not in a week or in a day arranged. So
Mhm.
they first collect a lot of more signals that it's not safe. So they do not do it directly, but there you can tell your concerns.
Mhm, mhm.
Who can make this signal, for example, for this organization? This kid or manager of location, or probably me, like psychologist, who can ask this help of this organizations?
Yeah. I don't know.
And so you mean who can call Veilig Thuis, you mean?
Yes.
That's your question, right? Who can call Veilig Thuis?
I would say manager of the location. If you, Yelena, go to the manager of the location and maybe you make this together with the manager,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and also maybe ask school how the child is there, because I know also from the school there are also sometimes signals that it doesn't go well. So maybe it has to be collaboration between the people. But I will say, in this case, I will say manager.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. We, Irene and I had a casus where there was a girl who had sexual problems, who went to other boys or other girls and didn't know the boundaries about her sexual behavior. So that was also a risk, I think, Irene. And we had to talk with her mother about it, to learn her that you cannot do like what she did. So it's also privacy. So it's very difficult. What do you tell to the manager, and what is between you and the client, of course. So that's also important to know.
Mm.
I also ask, it's like the same question. For example, most of Ukrainian kids are here without daddies, just with mother, because all men's mostly right now in Ukraine. And how is it possible to help just with one parent here in the Netherlands?
Yes. And do you mean legally or more practical?
No, I mean legally.
Legally.
So you can only have permission of one parent, you mean?
Yes,
Mm.
technically, because just mother, for example, over here.
Mm.
And it's like how I can do it legally without permission of two parents.
Yes. In the Netherlands, you have to have both parents, and Irene and I already started a few children without the permission of both parents. And one time we had a problem because of that, because later on the process, the dad was contact us that he didn't give permission. He was in Ukraine, and he was complaining about that we started the help for his child without permission. Then we have a problem. And with email contact, you also have contact with Ukraine or telephone. I think it's not always possible, but we have to do our best to try to contact the other. And when we did everything we can do, then I think it is okay. But when you directly only talk with the mother, then there possibly can be problems.
And in the most situation, it was one of the what?
Yeah.
But yes, it was a real problem. He didn't give the permission. The father didn't give it the permission. But no, normally, most of the times, if the family is okay and they don't really do the problem.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
think legally they ask, did you do everything to contact? And I think that when you can show you did everything and there's no contact with the father possible, then you can start. But when you do not even try, then it can be a problem. So first try, and when it's not possible, then you can start, and then you can show that you have tried everything.
Mm.
And may I ask a question to Irena Ukrainian and ask about translation, because probably it would be more easy. Як можливо пояснити менеджерам локації, от, наприклад, деталі? Тобто вони вважають, що якщо психолог, то вони відправили до психолога, і вони очікують на допомогу. Чи маю я право відмовити, наприклад, от через те, що я не маю погодження одного з батьків? Тобто, з одного боку, це моя робота, я є на локації, я маю підтримати цю, наприклад, дитину, да? Але чи маю я право відмовитись через те, що немає ось дозволу з одного з батьків?
Якщо це є проблемою. А кому ви хочете пояснити деталі? Менеджеру?
Да. Як це можна, от як менеджеру пояснити, що я, наприклад, юридично не маю права це робити, чи не можу, чи ось як це пояснити?
Ну, зазвичай нема таких проблем. Окей. So, hoe moet ik managers of de locatie benaderen en zeggen dat ik de hulp niet kan bieden omdat ik geen toestemming heb van beide ouders? Mag ik de hulp ook weigeren? Of mag ik klanten weigeren? Wat ik zei in het kort, ik zei, volgens mij komt dat niet vaak voor, maar jij mag ook je mening over geven.
Komt het niet vaak voor?
Ja, dat ze moeilijk doen van beide ouders.
Oh, zo,
Toch?
ja. Nee.
Ja.
Nee, most of the time both parents are agreed very easily. But also you ask, can you refuse it? So you can say, I cannot start a treatment because one parent doesn't agree, doesn't have consent about it. I think you have to do that, because else you have a problem. You have to tell the manager that you cannot start the help when you do not have permission from both the parents. And the manager has to know the rules in the Dutch. So I wouldn't start without permission.
Mm-hmm. Because then you will have juridical problem.
Yes. We as a psychologist have a problem legally if you start without permission from parents. When they're older than 16, then it's okay. But younger than 16, then you have a problem.
Okay, thank you. I get it.
Right. So, are there any other questions? Then please raise your hand or unmute yourself. And otherwise, I'm just checking all the questions that has been asked, and if I see any new question that has.
Mira, you also had a question. I forget, it was the question if you can see a child during school time.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So when my whole day I plan children at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So also on during school times I plan appointments. But of course, the times at the end of the day are the most popular. So sometimes I change one time in the morning and time in the midday. So children doesn't miss a lot of school, and sometimes they have exams. So of course I hou daar rekening mee. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah, I think I'm just going through the register if there are any others. Oh, there is another one that I got, and that was: are there any protocols on how long you should work with each topic or each problem with a child or with a client?
Yeah, nice question, because I think it's very you have your own opinion about that as a psychologist. I think you have to work very short with children, because children are ontwikkelen, or they are changing. So when you stay as a psychologist too long with children, I think they're getting aanhankelijk.
Like dependent on you?
They're getting too dependent on a child psychologist. So sometimes I have a treatment for 9 months, and then I stop because else they are too dependent. And sometimes it's good to see how they change when you don't see them a few months. But of course, when the problems are too much problems, of course we help and we don't stop. But you have to be alert on being having children too dependent from a psychologist. So we try to treat very short.
Yeah. All right. I think those were all the questions that I received of all of you. I see now nobody's raising their hands anymore, so I think we are done today. But yeah, I really want to thank you, Marijn, and also. Oh wait, there's someone else who's still got a question. All right,
Sorry.
please.
It wasn't the last question. Now it's the last question.
Yeah.
I'm interested in, do you provide group work or only individual work? Yeah, I mean children.
Yeah, I really advise group work too. Yeah, it can be very helpful for children. They learn from each other. They support each other. I think that's very helpful. Yeah.
And do you work with the parents in group or no, or only individually?
No, we work also with parents in groups. Yes. Yeah, but also individual traject, and also together, because the parents can also learn from each other. That's also very helpful, and you can see things that other parents have problems too with it, so it's more normal for them. So that's very helpful to have group therapy for parents and also for children.
Together, you mean?
No. Children apart and parents apart.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but there are a lot of organizations who also put them together. It's my own choice from our own practice that we do it like this, but there are other organizations who are organizing them together.
I understand. I got it. Thank you very much. Bedankt.
Yes.
Yeah. And I see now that Elena also wanted to ask another question.
I hope it would be a small question about what would be your advice about Ukrainian school, because right now a lot of kids still learning some subjects in Ukrainian school because we are not sure about future. And what would be your recommendation about how to help kids to manage two schools at the same time?
Yeah. Irene and I also have a lot of children who both do. They also have online both schools and also Dutch school. Maybe Irene, you know the answer?
No, I still don't know the answer. And I understand the parents who do the two schools. I understand that some parents choose only for one school, for Dutch school. Um, and it's very difficult. You have to see on a child. It's so personal. Some children do it very easy, and some children struggle with it. Mostly children struggle with it, but yeah, I didn't figure it out for myself, and I cannot give an advice to the parents. I mean, of course, I can give an advice, but no, I don't. I don't take this responsibility.
No.
All right. Okay. Ursula, you also raised your hand.
Yes, hi. I was wondering, Marijn, you told a lot um, about the shortage of the treatment here in the Netherlands. We have a tendency to make the treatment short, also with children, I can imagine. But I was wondering, and maybe Irene or other people who are here tonight can tell me what is the main difference in this or other things we've heard tonight in treatments of children here in the Netherlands or in Ukraine.
Irene,
Yeah,
do you
maybe I
share
can.
something about that?
The main difference I noticed that you have many lines of communicate of providing the care. So it's first line, second line, third line. So we don't have it in Ukraine. In Ukraine, like I have worked, I don't know, maybe colleagues also will help me and will answer this question better. What my most difficulty is that when you are basisgezet-psycholoog, you don't work, you can of course work with psychiatrist, with neurolog, and with other colleagues who help you. And here it's Marijn and me. So Marijn is very qualified, but sometimes you need this team of work, of co-work, of collaborations. And maybe colleagues can answer what is the duration of the treatment. Колега, хто хоче поділитися?
But Irene, it's also a choice of my own practice. I have only child psychologists who work with me, but there are a lot of organizations who have a broader range of specialists. So it's my own choice to have only child psychologists, but other organizations has a psychiatric and also social.
But I think they are second and third line, or not?
Yes, more the third line.
That's what I mean. That
Yes, yes.
in Ukraine we don't have this graduation.
No.
Hmm.
Or not too much. Colleagues, you can можете мене виправити, якщо я помиляюсь. І хто хоче поділитися про скільки терапія триває дитяча? I'm inviting colleagues to discussion.
Mhm.
In Ukraine, it's mostly it's like private practice with psychologists, and it could be like 1 year or 2 years if parents are ready to pay for this consultations. Mostly in Ukraine, it's just a private practice for money. Probably it's the main difference.
All right. Thank you. Is your question answered, Ursula? Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we're now heading towards the end of the presentation. Well, like I was saying before, Marijn and Irina, thanks a lot for your very insightful things that you shared with us tonight. And then I wish everyone a good evening and good night of sleep.